Sifter for the ear.
News, interviews, reviews, cinema, TV, streaming. Action.
Hi, y'all. This is Jerry Williams, a.k.a. TV Jerry. On a May 2024 podcast, I featured Al Underwood, who teaches actors how to ride horses. He's got some more workshops coming that include basic and advanced equestrian, plus firearms training. These will be taught in February and March in Charlottesville, and I'll post a link on the webpage for this show with more information.
And what we are trying to get rid of is hate and injustice and all of these other things that continue the long night of man's inhumanity to man.
Before the dream was shared with the world, it was whispered in Richmond. In chapels, classrooms, and crowded theaters, Dr. King planted seeds of hope.
Dogs or water hoses turn us around. We aren't going to let any injunction turn us around.
That was a clip from the trailer for Echoes of a Dream, MLK's Legacy in Richmond, Virginia, a documentary that looks at Martin Luther King's connection to our city. It was directed by Tyrone Nelson Jr., founder and CEO of the New Views Agency. They're planning numerous screenings around the state, and the next one is this Saturday, the 31st of January, at the Black History Museum and Cultural Center of Virginia. Today, Tyrone and I will talk about the short, plus what New Views is all about.
Sifter Review of the Week.
The Ponies on Peacock. Amelia Clark and Haley Lou Richardson play wives of two CIA operatives who are killed. The wives return to Moscow where they assume spy duties to discover the truth. Since they are wives, they're considered persons of no interest, hence the acronym title. This series has two things that make it stand out: Russia in the 70s and the two leads. Clark's expressive forehead, caterpillar eyebrows, and sweet smile make her a charming presence, while Richardson is doing her best Natasha Lyonne impression. Their chemistry holds the show together. The spy elements add interesting plot points, although some of their daring exploits challenge realistic thinking. For an old-fashioned espionage thriller, it's mildly entertaining, while never especially tense. I gave The Ponies 3 out of 5 stars. Tyrone, welcome to Sifter for the Ear.
Thank you.
Now, before we talk about Echoes of a Dream, I want to back way up and tell me what New Views Agency is and how you got started creating that.
So I started the company almost 10 years ago. We're in year 9. I was working at the Federal Reserve, and at that point I had finished high school early. I had finished high school around, I was about 15 years old. So I
Goodness.
went into J. Sarge and started taking my community college classes, trying to get my first degree. And I was studying business administration, and I liked numbers, so I thought I was going to go into accounting, and I had gotten a job as an accounting assistant there. I was on the 17th floor, had beautiful views of Richmond, and T. Potterfield Bridge was, for me, just there. So I would frequent it on my lunch break, and I would start to pull my camera out just instinctually and take photos and videos of just the nature around me. And one thing led to another. And I was just like, I kind of feel a calling with this video stuff. And I went to my local high school, and I was a big basketball fan, and would just sit and watch their practices and start recording their practices. And then practices turned into games. They went on a playoff run, and I went to the coach and said, I have all this footage. What do you think about me turning this into a documentary? And he was just like, absolutely. I'd never done a documentary before. I don't even know where the idea came from, honestly, but it just kind of happened.
And I have to interrupt you there because that was
Yeah.
Verina High School, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Verona High School.
That's where my husband went, actually.
Word.
We just celebrated 36 years together, so I think he's probably a little older than you are.
Well, congratulations on your 36 years of
Thank
living. That's amazing.
So then that got you noticed a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, we put the documentary out, and some folks over at Adidas had saw it and asked if I wanted to do this type of work all across the country. And I said absolutely. At that point, I had finished up at J. Sarge. I started attending VCU. So literally half of my time was traveling across the country, doing video work for Adidas, and then trying to finish up my degree at VCU. So,
And what was that degree in?
it was in marketing, communications, and analytics.
Oh, cool. Okay. Somehow that evolved, obviously, because I've been on the website, and the New Views is pretty big now. How many people you got working there, and what do y'all do exactly?
So we have about almost 20, or probably maybe a little over 20 when you count an intern staff here. We help tell stories. I think that's the crux to everything that we do here. We help companies, we help people who are trying to, start their own brands, tell the story that connects all of us, whether it's, how they got into it or them selling a new product or us telling our own stories with the documentary. When I got into the video business and then that evolved into turning into a marketing agency, I just saw there was a need for telling the story in a way that resonates with people. So I was able to kind of build a suite of services around that, the advertising side to the production side to the advocacy side, really having all that stuff housed under one roof.
And what do you mean by advocacy side?
What we work with companies, I'll give you an example. Centera Health, they're big in the 757. They have a couple hospitals, I believe, in Charlottesville and a couple in Northern Virginia. And they start a health clinic in Northern Henrico, right down the street from Henrico High School. And they came to us with the question of the community, usually when we're starting new facilities, don't trust us. Big bag corporate health company that comes into town and they don't feel safe enough to walk into the doors. And our goal is to be able to help that community. So how can we do so? And they'll bring us in to kind of bridge that gap to tell the story of Centera, but also be the voice for the community, so that Centera can not just check the box and offer their services, but listen to what the community's needs are and meet them where they're at.
So you're not just making a video say, hey, welcome to Centura. You're doing more involvement with the community itself.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of what the company is for me is trying to make some change happen in, I want to say all areas, honestly. There's a lot of transition that's happened here in Richmond, and I think there's a lot more work to still be done to kind of make this a great place to be able to work, live, and play, and we try to fill that gap.
Right now, of course, I want to get to Echoes of a Dream, but I got to ask you one question that you just made me think of when you were talking about growing the company, because my friend Elizabeth Warren used to run the video department at Circuit City back in the day. And she talked about how she missed it because once you get to a certain level, you're busy doing meetings, you're dealing with personnel. You don't ever get to be out there on the set doing the fun stuff. Do you still get to go out on set, or are you busy just running the company now?
I try to make time to make sure that there's, especially the projects that I really care about, that I'm out there on set. We have a student story that we just wrapped shooting on, and actually got the first cut done from post production about a week or so ago from VCU Arts and the fashion merchandising program. They had a student that was going over to Italy, and they asked us to tell her story about what her first couple of years have been here before taking that jump to Italy. And I was like, this is amazing. And I made
Yeah,
sure that
yeah.
I was on that project,
Did you get to go to Italy?
no, I
Oh,
wish I
bummer.
would. The project wrapped right before, like literally, I just talked to her. She just got on the plane last week. So it was everything up to Italy. So hopefully, we get a part two and we get to go out there.
Absolutely.
Surprise guest drop in.
Well, now, before we actually talk a little bit more about Echoes of a Dream, somebody dropped in to say hello.
Footnote.
Shakia Goulet Warren is the executive director of the Black History Museum and Cultural Center of Virginia. Shakia Goulet Warren, do you know Tyrone? I'm hoping you do.
We have not met in person yet, just over email.
Yes.
Well, she dropped in just to talk about the screening that's coming up on the 31st. Shakia, welcome. Why don't you tell us about what's going to be happening at that event and give us a little background on it?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us. And I know Tyrone is actually more apt to talk about the film, but the experience overall for us in the spirit of Dr. King's legacy is really just to bring some of these untold stories, specifically Richmond's part of his life. He made multiple trips to Virginia, multiple trips to Richmond specifically due to his relationship with Virginia Union and Reverend Walker. And the film is really going to tease that out. So we'll have a panel discussion along with the film screening that day. And we really just want people to come out and to kick off their year in service and thinking about his legacy and how we can contribute to be better people, better Americans every day.
And who's going to be on that panel? I assume Tyrone will be there?
Yes, so Tyrone will be on the panel. We also have Nadine Marsh Carter and Dr. Cleve Tinsley from VUU, just to speak about their experience or lived experience through their elders or their family relationships. And Dr. Cleve will actually talk about the legacy of Dr. King. He is a trained pastor, he's ordained, and he's a historian as well. So he will definitely bring that depth of community and understanding of Dr. King to the panel discussion.
Terrific. And this is free and open to the public, right?
Correct.
I'll be sure to have a link on the webpage for this show at TV Jerry so people can get into that. Tyrone, anything you want to mention about working with them or anything you want to say to Shakia while we got her here?
She did a fantastic job of kind of summarizing what the takeaways we want after the film to be, describing the experience. So I don't really have too much to add other than thank you. I mean, the Black History Museum of Virginia has really made itself a mainstay in not only this community, but the state. And to be given the opportunity to tell this story there and kicked off this tour in our first couple of opening days there, it means the world. So, thank you guys for the opportunity for us to be able to tell that story on your stage.
Oh, thank you so much, Tyrone. And I mean, not to toot your own horn, but I love how you have created community and you have created a way to tell these stories through your company. We know all about it. We're excited to be in collaboration, and congratulations on the award. I made sure that when we had our MLK breakfast this morning that we talked about this program, and I've been lifting it up all day as we continue to just think about Dr. King. And I think when we come together in community, we're stronger as one. And these types of programs really illuminate that. So the community understands that we need each other to be better and to really live out the dream of Dr. King's beloved community.
Absolutely. I cannot wait until the 31st to be able to see that community and really hear the stories of how they take this film and hopefully are inspired to lead better lives. I mean, Dr. King was such an impactful figure for so many different reasons. And for him to have such a strong tie to not just Virginia, but Richmond, I'm just so fortunate to be able to tell that story. So I'm excited. The 31st is on my calendar, been circled for months now. So I'm looking forward to it.
Terrific. By the way, I just want to mention when I was watching the documentary, it came up the date, April 16th, 1968. And I remembered it because I was at RPI. That tells you how long ago it was. And on my way on the train on the way home to Florida for spring break, and the news came out that Dr. King had been assassinated on the train. And obviously that was a big shocker. I don't even know if y'all were either one alive then, were you?
I wasn't here.
Not
You
quite.
You don't have to answer that if you don't want to. But anyway, I want to thank you so much for being on. The museum is wonderful. I've been there and enjoyed it thoroughly, and I look forward to coming back. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We haven't actually talked about it. She gave us a little bit of a nutshell there, but what inspired you to create the documentary Echoes of a Dream? And give us a little nutshell about what it's about, and then what inspired you to want to create this in the first place.
Every year, we try to tell stories about Dr. King, about his legacy. It really honestly all started from a blog post, and it was just our way of kind of honoring his legacy. And that turned into a video project where we were able to talk to local elected officials about how Dr. King inspired them and how they, enact legislation that fits in kind of the direction that he wanted the country to go into. And that evolved into us with a partnership with Martin Luther King Middle School that's in the Mosby area of Richmond.
By the way, my daughter, Shenandoah, teaches preschool on the MLK campus.
Oh, that's amazing. I had went there for the first time a couple years ago, and just seeing the students and the faculty and how they run that ship, it's pretty amazing. So we were able to kind of tell that story with RPS, and after that, we sat back and we said, all right, what else is here? What more meat is on the bone? How much lemon is still left in this squeeze? And I really challenged the team and said, let's try to tell something that we don't know or we haven't heard before. My dad is the pastor of 6 Mile Zion Baptist Church, so we hear often in our church history about how Martin Luther King was supposed to be in Richmond the day that he was assassinated.
You mentioned that in the documentary.
Absolutely. And when I heard that, I was like, there has to be more to this. So we kind of worked our way back from there and worked closely with Virginia Union, and they have a great archival library of his visits. And we just stayed there and tried to document every time he was here, every time he mentioned Virginia, and turned that into our Martin Luther King slash Black History piece. And what started as a couple minute video turned into a full short documentary. The way would summarize the film is just Dr. King's legacy within Richmond, Virginia, within Virginia. His meetings, his preachings, his teachings, and even finding members of his staff like Wyatt T. Walker, who became his chief of staff, all here in Richmond, Virginia. He started some of the early dominoes that fell for the civil rights movement here in Richmond. Being able to take all of that and put it into the film, I would say is the best way I can summarize what the film is about.
So, what was the biggest challenge in putting together this documentary? You've got all the photographs and footage, all that stuff obviously is a challenge just acquiring it all. But what was the biggest challenge on editing it and producing it, putting it together?
The motion design. I think the voiceover carries. I think that the story is there, but the motion design to be able to capture everything that's going on and continue to kind of hold your attention for the entire film. Myself and then our creative content producer Moses, we were the two main motion designers on the project, and it was a lot to say the least. I think that my background in sports helped tremendously with that. I mean, I worked a couple jobs before I ended up going just full time with the agency, and one of those was being the director of social media for VCU Athletics. So being able to get into Blender, get into After Effects, and make something for the jumbotron or make something for the social media edits to pop, whether it's us flying through a jersey or creating a CGI workplace where we can fly through the shoelaces, all of that stuff. And then my work at Dominion, for all of the linemen, when they're working on all the lines and going underground, we have to create kind of mock-ups so they see what they're going into before they go into it. But two, to figure out what it's like if there's a flood that's coming in and what it looks like for, 30 feet of water to rush into your workspace. All of that information and all of the lessons that I learned in those two different fields, I think played a huge role in how we were able to design this film. So it just wasn't a bunch of photos and videos cut together.
So, have you got any desire to create a feature film, maybe a narrative or a documentary, expand that beyond the short form?
I'm not sure if it'll be with this project specifically, but we have a couple of other films that we're starting to write. One is a story about the sickle cell warriors, just how sickle cell warriors live their life all across the country. And then the Reverend John Jasper, with America's 250th anniversary, he was one of the first Black prominent figures to be heralded all across the world. And we've been working with the historians from the church and from the Valentine Museum and from the Black History Museum to see what story there is there.
I want to back up for a minute because you mentioned winning that award earlier, and that was at the Richmond International Film Festival. Tell us about that experience.
I honestly say that premiere was one of the best moments of my entire life. From the first day when we got there, we were able to walk the red carpet and just see the reception of people. Like there were people coming up to me from all over the country. It was this one woman from Missouri, Tyrone, like, can I get a picture? And I've never seen this woman before.
Wow, great.
She was just like, I've heard so much about your film because we did especially since we have the marketing capabilities. Our marketing team, I feel like, did a fantastic job of marketing this film before the showing at the Richmond International Film Festival. For me, that was my first experience kind of being in that environment. I really did feel like, somewhat of a movie star, like a real legit director. And then having the second night where we actually premiered the film and we sold out our showing. We actually sold it out twice. We had one showing in a smaller theater and that sold out. So we said, hey, you guys got a bigger theater. Can we get the biggest thing that you have at both? We feel confident that we can make this happen. And we sold that one out. And then just filmmakers and artists from all across the world, across the country. It was a beautiful experience. And then the last night being the awards ceremony, I told my girlfriend, her name is Jordan. We've been together for about 8 years. And she told me that she had a good feeling about that night. So I said, we'll see. I know I got a long career ahead of me. I'm not expecting anything from it. And before the night was over, we got the audience choice for best short film. And I tipped my hat to Heather for everything that she's created with the Richmond International Film Festival. But it truly was an amazing experience.
You hear that, Heather? She'll be listening, I'm sure. So this podcast is going to come out on the 28th, and the screening is on the 31st. Are there going to be some other opportunities to see it if somebody can't make it?
The goal is at the top of each month. We're going to have new screening releases that'll come out. So if they can just tune into the website or follow us on social, you'll have more opportunities, because the Black History Museum, for us, they told us to stop promoting it because it's pretty much sold out.
Oh, great.
Our goal is just to make sure that we go from Northern Virginia all the way out west in Virginia, and then down to the 757. So it takes time to kind of put those screenings together, and we've been working the past couple months to try to make stuff happen. But I want to make sure that people know that this is not their only opportunity in the January showings.
And one question I always like to ask when you're not working on your own projects, which sounds like a lot, what have you been watching lately on movie or TV?
Oh, I have been watching Pluribus.
Oh, okay. What'd you think? Did you finish it?
No, I haven't finished it, but so far it's been great because I had not watched Breaking Bad. So we watched Breaking Bad, and then we went directly into Better Call Saul. No, we went into El Camino, then Better Call Saul, and then it feels natural to go into Pluribus, even though it's not connected.
Very different, too.
Yeah, very, very different. But my girlfriend, she gets on me because she likes, the lovey-dovey, rom-coms. And I like those too, but she tells me I watch depressive TV and depressive movie shows. So this was definitely kind of a mix of those. There's some very funny moments, but also some serious moments where you kind of sit back and think of what you would do in those situations. Right. And it's Richmond talent.
Yeah, Vince.
Footnote.
Vince is Vince Gilligan, a Richmond native who became famous for creating Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and Pluribus is his latest.
Shout out to my guy.
Yeah, I've been trying to get him on the show. Haven't had a success yet, but it's interesting because Pluribus, I finished this season. And by the way, it doesn't finish. It just kind of says, okay, next season. So there's not a conclusion. You won't get any satisfaction, which is a little frustrating because you don't really okay, I need more to happen. So I'm glad you're enjoying it, maybe more than I did.
I think I'm on episode 2 or 3, so I'm not super.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. Anything else?
We watched Mari Supreme on Christmas Day. I think we caught that 2 or 3 times in the film. I finished 4 seasons on Netflix, and I've been revisiting. I think it was Lenora, the A24 film.
Oh, Honora, that won the Oscar. I love that movie. I watched it twice, and I hardly ever see anything twice.
Yeah, I am with you. Me seeing anything more than once is kind of a rarity. So I've revisited that movie twice, and I've just kind of been in the A24 catalog. We recently finished, it was Adam Sandler, A24.
Uncut Gems, maybe?
Yes, Uncut Gems. We went and rewatched that. That's kind of where my head's been, just kind of sitting and watching things casually.
There you go. Now, have you by any chance seen the new Frankenstein?
No, but I keep hearing great things about it.
That is my favorite movie of the year. And I told everybody in my review, see it in the theaters because it needs to be immersive. It's grand. The spectacle, the costumes, the sets, everything are just so beautiful. And to be in a dark room where it's big is the way to see it. So do me a favor. When you do watch it, turn off the lights, put your phone away because it's 2 hours and something, but you really need to let yourself immerse it. If you're constantly checking your phone and stuff, and it's not scary, it's not a horror film at all. It's really, the last scene will probably make you cry. It did me.
Me and my girlfriend do movie nights every Friday at 7:30. So I'll make sure that this is at the top of the list for this Friday.
Good deal. Well, Tyrone, it's great to meet you, and congratulations on this film and all the work you're doing with your corporation. And I look forward to hearing what's next.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate, especially having someone as storied as you in this career to want to hear from us and hear what we got going on and give us the opportunity to kind of shine a light on what we're doing. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for the podcasting experience and kind of giving a light to us producers, us directors, us that are in the production space. Sometimes our voice goes unheard in the big weird world. So I really appreciate it.
So it's good to get heard. I'm glad I could hear you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
That was Tyrone Nelson Jr., whose documentary Echoes of a Dream, MLK's Legacy in Richmond, Virginia, looks at Martin Luther King's connection to our city. They're planning numerous screenings around the state, and the next one is this Saturday, January 31st, at the Black History Museum and Cultural Center of Virginia. I'll have a link to that showing, plus other relevant links on the webpage for this show at TV Jerry.
Coming soon. In theaters.
Send Help. This is the first film from director Sam Raimi in more than a decade. It's a thriller about a woman, Rachel McAdams, who finds herself stranded on a tropical island with her toxic boss, Dylan O'Brien. The voice of Hind Rajab. Red Crescent volunteers receive an emergency call that a 6-year-old girl is trapped in a car under fire in Gaza. This is a narrative film based on a real event, but it uses the real girl's actual phone recordings. Shelter. A recluse on a remote Scottish island rescues a girl from the sea, unleashing a perilous sequence of events that culminate in an attack on his home, which isn't a surprise considering Jason Statham is the recluse. Iron Lung, yet another film based on a video game set in yet another post-apocalyptic future. This time, a convict explores a blood ocean on a desolate moon using the titular submarine to search for missing stars and planets. Melania. This documentary looks into the First Lady's life in the 20-day period before the 2025 inauguration. Arco is an animated film set in the future where a mysterious boy in a rainbow suit falls from the sky from an idyllic future. Moses the Black, the story of a gangster in modern-day Chicago that's inspired by the repentance of a 4th century saint of the same name.
TV and streaming.
If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You on HBO. Rose Byrne just won a Golden Globe for her role as a woman on the verge of a breakdown who must cope with her daughter's illness, an absent husband, a missing person, and an unusual relationship with her therapist. The Wrecking Crew on Prime. Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista play estranged half-brothers who reunite after their father's mysterious death. As they search for the truth, buried secrets reveal a conspiracy threatening to tear the family apart. Shrinking on Apple. This 3rd season includes Jason Segel and Harrison Ford, with new additions in Michael J. Fox, Candice Bergen, and Jeff Daniels. Next week, meet one of the original cast members of Discovery Travelers, one of TV's first reality shows. And he's also got some local connections that I'm sure you'll recognize. This is Jerry Williams. Thanks for listening.
For more Sister, including literally thousands of reviews,
visit tvjerry.com.
That's a wrap.